Thank you very much, everyone, for coming down this morning. This is really, I guess, a new era for the Wildcats. It's really an evolution, not a revolution. We're entering a bold new era. The team's changing, the club's changing, the culture is changing. The previous identity that we had it for nearly 20 years old, but the technology, the way we watch and engage with the game, our expectations of our members and fans, it's all changing. So the brand has to change as well. The brand isn't just a new logo, it's a strategic reset to fuel growth, re-energize our fan base, and set the tone for a new era of dominance, both on and off court. As part of this rebrand, we polled our members and fans about 6-7 months ago. We received over 800 or 900 elements of feedback and people who responded to that survey. As a result of that, this is the outcome of that. Ultimately, we want to honour the past, our 10 years of 10 championships, 35 years final streak. There are numerous legends of the club that have contributed to our success, one of them standing to my left. And now we want to focus on our current roster, who will be adding to the next chapter as we look to win our 11th championship. We want to use this rebrand to leverage technology. How do we improve our fan experiences, both in the arena and digitally? And we want to modernise our operations and provide richer engagement with our members, commercial partners, and the broader basketball community. Thank you. Feedback has been mixed, but we kind of expected that any change, especially like this, would take a bit of getting used to, and I'll be encouraged throughout the season, and as we expect our members and fans to generally like it like they did probably 20 years ago when the previous logo was released.
Were you nervous about making change?
I was not nervous about making change. I was more about, how do we look to the future by having nods to the past, and I feel we've met that with the new logo.
The logo in comparisons to the Perth Links, the high school musical fiction team and others. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, the funniest one was the High School Musical, not something that we've watched. Unfortunately, a huge amount of brands and teams globally have different logos of different animals, and I wish we could do something totally unique, but we really wanted to keep a nod to the past, and that was the feedback we received from our members and fans as well.
What's your message to the fans? Social media has been awash with, and I'm going to say this, majority negative reactions to the logo itself, not the words, but the logo. What is your message to fans who see this as some sort of distraction away from some of what's happened off court in the last couple of months?
Yeah, I'll just say we have a huge, I wouldn't say huge number, but a very dedicated group of staff, and we're able to do multiple things simultaneously. As you'll see, even with the increased games, we're working on some international games prior to the NBL season starting with Japanese teams. We're working on additional games during the season, working on building a great roster, and timing, is what it is. We said going into my first season in charge that we would be building a new brand, and our logo is a small part of that. Logo is what people are focused on at the moment, but give us some time and hopefully you'll come to love it like we have.
Sorry, Mark, you saying that it was good timing because of the new roster, and including the fact that the greatest ever player no longer at the club, it's probably good timing?
No, it was timing with myself taking over ownership of the club. Like, the wheels were in motion for this rebrand about probably 8-9 months ago, and we were pretty clear that this was the area we were doing, and that's when we polled our members and fans for feedback.
What was the feedback from the members?
The members were kind of mixed. One of the consistent was would we go back to the black and gold or stay in red, but a majority of our members supported staying in red, so that was a key element. And the other one was, we want to look to the future, but also looking at the past, so that was a key element. And we are keeping Wilbur. That was one of the common things. People think we're getting rid of Wilbur. You can see, yeah, there's Wilbur.
Were you targeting a specific demographic of your members or future members?
Yeah, I would say that the large focus of the rebrand is to energize and bring new members. So perhaps, that's not like myself, who was a member growing up supporting the Wildcats with the original, the black and gold, which means a lot to me, but probably doesn't mean anything to anyone under 35. So certainly we would have, a push was how do we attract new members and fans, certainly.
Is that the old saying that, why does the coming era in between so successful for so long?
Yeah, I mean, I need a new era. We're in a different time. We need to engage with our fans and our members in a different way. How we present ourselves, we're competing on a global attention and global support, and also global players ultimately. So it's about taking our brand global and making a brand that's bigger than basketball. Yeah, I mean, I think what I've said all the way along, like I'm here for the long term, and I feel that I should be judged by long-term results, and that's really what I'm focused on. So we haven't even, I came in right before the start of the season. One of the first things I was able to do is take the team to Japan to play some games and play international basketball, and we're continuing that this coming season. But yeah, I'd say, look for me and for long-term results, and I hope and I'm confident that the roster we're putting together will be really strong this coming season.
Very public and very accessible to the fans for your fans. How are you finding the feedback?
I'd say number one, I like the passion. I love the passion. Maybe not so much the abuse, but yeah, really like the fans, and that's just the type of owner I want to be open, accessible, and anybody can send me feedback whether I like it or not, and happy to receive it. I'd say I think some of the passion has been heavier, both good and bad, but I think that's the nature of professional sport. It's emotional extremes on either end, and we feel that certainly ourselves within the club, and I'm sure our members and fans do as well.
Mark, were you happy with the way the price got thing unfolded? Were you happy with that, how it panned out? Feedback?
I mean, I don't know if I'd be happy with it, but I would just say, we did, and what we thought is, and we still believe what's right for the Wildcats, and that's long-term success both on and off the court, and we felt we did that and totally backed the decision we all made collectively.
Who made that decision? Was that you, or was it a group that made the decision?
I mean, ultimately the buck stops with me as both the owner and CEO, but it was a collective decision.
Would you like to wait a bit longer, give him a bit more time?
No, we'd given him more than enough time. It was well over 6 months, and a lot was reported. Was it 3 days? No, it was 6 months and 3 days.
No regrets at all around the way?
No regrets.
What about the way of the messaging? It did sound like the way you represented he made the decision to leave. He's saying you guys made the decision. How do you feel some of
Yeah, I mean, it was a delicate one, but I think, like I said, we made the right decision. Could we have maybe improved it? The messaging to our members and fans, it's probably everything everyone could always do is improve their communication, certainly. But it is what it is, and we're in professional sport, and we need to build a roster that can win a championship, and that's more than just one person. And if you look at the last 2 seasons, have been won by teams with great, well-rounded rosters, and that's what we're looking to put together for this coming season.
Do you feel not paying a truckload for one time will allow you to fill a strong roster?
Yeah, I do feel that.
Where are you at in building that roster? Again, fans keep saying we're seeing re-sign Flip, where's Bryce replacement? Comments you ran, where's Bryce's replacement? Where are you at in terms of finding someone to take the advantage of building a roster? I mean, the season's come on.
Yeah, I'll just say, Bryce is a 5 times MVP, so he's irreplaceable from that aspect. And again, like our strategy is to put a great, well-rounded roster together that can win our next championship. So, and then we're in the global marketplace for top talent on the basketball side. And Europe, the Europe's leagues are just finishing. It runs a lot longer than the Australian NBL. Japan's just recently finished as well. So, we have a lot more time, and you don't win the championship by signing people faster than others. You do it by having the best roster, come round one, and that's certainly our goal.
With Dylan
It's hard to say because I mean a lot of them is they're juggling up offers. Like all the great players that we're talking to have a multitude of offers from across the globe. So when that actually signs and we can announce, I don't know. But like I said, I'll just repeat. You know, when round one comes, we'll be ready to roll with an awesome roster.
What about signing a marquee
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it's the same thing. The top Aussies, like anywhere, like top Americans, top Europeans are in super high demand and have a multitude of options. And we can't kind of timeline when our next signing will occur. I mean, I think those are still discussions, and you know, when we have information to share, we'll be happy to share it.
Was Paddy Mills ever in the play, and is he able to play now that he looks like he's in Hawaii or something?
Yeah, I'll just say that, you know, we can't really get into too many discussions around players, but I'll just say I have been surprised by a lot of commentary around players that we've had no engagement with at all. Yeah, like I said, we got nothing to announce. Yeah, apologies.
Stay with Mark.
Ask Jesse the hard questions.
Go Mark. Crush it.
Jesse, what do you think about our roster?
You crushed it.
confident with what you can steer at the moment, what you're seeing other teams will be able to challenge?
Yeah, I'm confident we'll put on the court a really, really solid roster that can challenge for a championship. Ask him harder questions.
I wasn't listening to your question. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, good.
How shocked were you when you heard that Bryce was up that late?
Pretty shocked, but look, I've got nothing but love and respect for Bryce, and you know, as soon as I heard the news, I texted him that. I hope the feeling's mutual, but you know, the reality of the situation is I'm probably not still playing if it wasn't for Bryce, and the club success and my individual success is in due large part to Bryce, and I'm forever in Bryce's debt for that, and I hope he gets welcomed with open arms when he comes back, because you know I'm forever in debt to what Bryce has done for this organisation, for myself. So as I said, I'm probably not here today if it wasn't for Bryce, because the only way you stick around in this league is to have at least some individual success, but mostly team success, and he was a large part of that. So nothing but love and respect, and you know, rage, and you know, I wish him all the best.
You played with him and trained him every day for 9.5 years. How do you find a way to beat him?
I don't know. Look, Mark said it before, he is irreplaceable. I think, you know, when I come across, you know, guys like that, it's BC, and another one that sticks in my head is Damo. I think Damo, when he retired, was irreplaceable. So in terms of moving on, you don't replace, you just kind of have to pivot a bit. And, you know, we're going to have to pivot, and he's still the best player in the league. You know, he's an incredibly tough player, but, you know, we didn't win every game with him. So, you know, it's not as if he's unbeatable, but he's exceptionally tough, and as I said, he's still the best player in the league, and we're going to have to find a way.
Are you saying the Red Army, you don't want the Red Army to blue? You want to give him advice?
Look, they can do what they want. I'm no one's father apart from my three munchkins. But look, as I said, I'm forever in Bryce's debt, and I think the fan base as well is forever in Bryce's debt. The success that he's brought in the last 9 years is not unprecedented, but you know, in terms of what he's done as an individual, is unprecedented. And you know, these decisions about contracts and where to play, I've always tried to stick out of it for other guys, because I think everyone thinks it's about basketball, but it's also bigger than basketball. You know, guys have families, guys have lives, guys have, you know, completely different lives outside of basketball. So there's a lot of things that go on, and it's not as much as everyone thinks 100% basketball. So hopefully they give him the respect that he deserves, and as I said, I've got a lot of respect for the man.
And the logo, you're happy with the logo?
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it, to be honest. I just saw it as well, so I'm as new as it is to me as it is to you. But look, I think Mark said it. You know, I've been with the club 17 years, and so I've been used to the logo, and I think, you know, you mentioned some of the negative feedback online, but I think everyone is, I'm no psychologist, but I think naturally a bit resistant to change. And I'm sure when this logo was introduced, or the previous logo was introduced, I'm sure there was some negative comments about that. So I think it'll take some while to get used to, but yeah, I don't mind it.
Fan group at the moment, as the sole survivor of that era, do you feel it's the same club?
The club's not the same from year to year, and I think that's unfair to have that expectation that it doesn't change. And Mark's brought a new voice and a new vision, and that's a good vision. And so, as I said, change is constant, and we need to evolve and move forward, and this is just one way of that.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.